Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third video. So we're doing a CFS 6 month look ahead for today's third video. This is just for fun. It's going to take us 6 months ahead. We'll be going from April 2019 through to September 2019 with the long range CFS V2 models. We're going to see what the model is forecasting in terms of the 700 millibar height anomalies broken down on monthly periods for the next 6 months, and we'll also have a look at the corresponding temperature and precipitation anomalies that go with those heights. Now, if everything's working as you would expect it to, then months 1 and 2 have some sort of reliability about them, hopefully, fingers crossed. But it is probable that as you get through to months 3, 4, 5, and 6, the unreliability sort of crashes, or reliability crashes, and it all becomes very, very unreliable. And so from around month 3 onwards, that is getting into the realm of being just for fun. The charts are there, so might as well have a look at them, but do take this with huge bucketfuls, not just pinchfuls, but huge bucketfuls of salt. But I will go through those charts for you in a second, and we'll have a little bit of a laugh. Just to say that today's first video, so weekend broadcast, as always on a Saturday, having the weekend look ahead at Gazlovids, and also week to 10 day video update is here on the homepage. Just scroll down page and you'll find it above the snow desk. Right, let's get on with March 2019 CFS 6 month look ahead. We're going to begin with the 700 millibar height anomalies, and we're starting with April. So if everything's working as you expect it to, this should be the most reliable part of all of this update. So for April, we find we've got an area of above average heights, which is high pressure, of course, sitting to our east over Scandinavia and also back into western parts of Russia. There's above average heights in the western part of the Atlantic Ocean and some below average heights up towards Greenland. Looks like we've got a relatively weak jet stream coming across the Atlantic, I have to say. There's no real strong signal for westerlies here. We may have a bit of a split in the jet with some of the energy going up there, some of the energy going down there. And I would suspect quite a bit of warm weather through the course of April, and maybe a fair amount of dry conditions too, with winds kind of like coming from a southerly, southeasterly direction. That's how May's 700 millibar height anomaly is looking. So in May, the above average height centres kind of like to the south-southwest of the country, below average heights in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So for May, we're doing something a little bit like that, but flowing with the jet. Might be a little bit more unsettled in May. Depends how much of a ridge we generate from that high pressure centred over sort of southern France, Bay of Biscay, and northern Spain. Overall, I would suspect it's a bit of a westerly jet stream and possibly quite unsettled, maybe more unsettled than you would think by the 700 millibar height anomaly. Again, we will look at the temperature and precipitation anomalies that go with these heights in a moment. This is how June is looking. So this is month 3. It's a very long way out. It is getting into the realm of being just for fun. But we have an area of above average heights centering just to our north-northeast. You expect quite a lot of dry weather through the course of June. And maybe bringing in warm or possibly even very warm easterly winds. Of course, on the east coast, those easterlies will be somewhat cooler, but inland, it could be quite a warm month and fairly dry as well, I would have thought, in June. That's how July is looking. So we're at month 4 now. We are well and truly into unreliability. We have above average heights in July centred across central parts of Europe. So it's kind of like Denmark, northern parts of Germany. Above average heights also to the south of Greenland. You would think there's going to be some sort of corresponding trough of below average heights through the middle of the Atlantic. Now, this could be a very warm, but also potentially very thundery scenario. So maybe a hot and very warm month, but also potentially very unstable, very thundery. Just my interpretations of what would probably be going on there. We've got 2 ridges, one to our east and one well away from us in the middle of the Atlantic. You will think there's got to be some sort of corresponding trough somewhere. I reckon the trough would be through there. And so the jet stream will probably be doing something like that. And we will probably be pulling up hot air from the south or southeast, unstable and thundery potentially for July. That's just my interpretation. Then we go through to August, and we're at month 5 now, so it's not worth worrying about at all. But for August, just a few hints of northern blocking, some above average heights then beginning to appear up to our north. Otherwise, no real area of below average heights, no real trough. But again, with high pressure up here, you will think there's probably going to be a trough somewhere, and I would suspect the trough in August would likely be through there and through there. So what that does, it would place us into a cooler or maybe even a colder sort of east or northeasterly type wind. Could be hot if the wind is sort of east-southeasterly. So it's one of those that is a little bit in between, it's in between, but probably more unsettled and maybe cooler in August. And then finally we get through to September with very weak signals. May and September always seem to have the weakest signals with these long range models. I'm not sure why, but they're always the two hardest months to forecast for, really. May and September, always very, very difficult. A weak signal, some above average heights up to our northeast, otherwise not much else going on. It is month 6, so it's not worth worrying about. Temperature anomalies in April are looking like this. So much of Europe is actually coming out quite warm in April. Most central, western, northern, eastern parts of Europe are above average. In the very far western northwest, it is actually cooler. So for Ireland and the UK, for the far west of France, and then down into Spain and Portugal, temperature anomalies are closer to average. So not too far from average with the temperature anomaly in April. That's how May looks. And again, very close to average with temperature anomalies in May. Remember, what's happening in May is that you have high pressure down here. And I thought it looked like we're probably bringing in some influence from the jet stream. So a relatively coolish signal potentially for May. Or certainly no better than average. A lot of Europe is cooling down in May as well. But then June turns warmer. So this is as we get high pressure centering up towards Scandinavia and we're bringing in those easterly winds. So a warm month, not just for UK and Ireland, but for many parts of Europe, warm in June. That's July, also looking at another warm month. Now, remember, in July, we have above average heights kind of centered around Greenland, Denmark. I thought there'd probably be some low pressure out here and around here. And so it's unstable. It's very warm, potentially hot month, but also potentially quite unstable. Excuse me. And also potentially fairly wet as well. Excuse me again. Bit of a frog in me throat, sorry about that. August, so again, very, very similar with the temperature anomalies for the UK and Ireland in August, generally above average. A little bit less so, though, compared to June and July. That's particularly the case for many northern parts and central parts of Europe, where we're reverting close to average. So this does imply a bit of a cool down, potentially, in August, but it's month 5, so it's not worth worrying about. And then September goes quite warm once again. Finally, the precipitation anomalies, if my voice holds out. I hope I'm not going to do a Theresa May and lose my voice. Let's hope it holds out for the last section of the video. So, precipitation for April, again, very close to average. So April is proving quite a challenging month to forecast for, actually. It's only month 1, but the signals appear to be very weak, both in terms of the heights. There's not a great deal going on with the heights, and with temperature and precipitation very close to average. We possibly hint at being a little bit on the wetter than average side. The only reason I say that is that parts of Ireland are looking a little bit wetter than average, and northern parts of France also looking a little bit wetter than average. Conversely, northern Scotland a little bit drier. I would expect overall quite a changeable month, let's say, if not overly unsettled. That's how May is looking, and again we find that the temperature and precipitation anomalies in May are very weak. Now in May, a reminder of what's happening then, we get above average heights in this sort of position, so it's high pressure down to our south-southwest. It looked like we're probably bringing in the jet stream over the top. I would suspect May is a rather changeable and probably not overly warm month either. But then June, it goes much drier than average. That's the strongest signal out of those first 3. Actually, it's June. We have high pressure over Scandinavia. We bring in those easterly winds, so potentially a very warm month in June, but also potentially very, very dry for much of northern Europe indeed. That's July, but looks much more changeable, doesn't it? So precipitation anomalies in July are only sort of average for the UK and Ireland, nothing particularly dramatic, but down to our south, we find that France, Spain, Portugal coming out wetter than average, drier than average over here. So again, remember what's happening in July is that we've got high pressure in this sort of position. So we've got high pressure to our east. I think there will be low pressure not only to our west but also to our southwest. The flow and the jet could do something like that. That could suck up hot air from the south and from southern, central, and eastern parts of Europe, but also very unstable. So July potentially is a hot and thundery month. A little bit mouth-watering for those lovers of convection who are watching the video. I know we do have quite a few. That's August, so very close to average, really, with precipitation anomaly in August. Doesn't look particularly unsettled, I'd say. Remember, in August we've got hints of a bit of northern blocking with high pressure up here. And then we go through to September, and again, very weak signals. Looks like many sort of central southern parts of Europe are quite wet in September, maybe hinting at being a bit drier than average up in the northwest. But as it's 6 months away, I don't think we'll worry too much about it. So, coming back to the next couple of months, quite complicated patterns for April. The signal is very weak. I would expect fairly, on what model is forecasting, fairly changeable, but not overly unsettled, not overly wet. Temperatures quite close to average. However, I've got a feeling we may have a drier and a warmer April than that is indicating. Watch your space. Then we go through to May, and it's a little bit cooler, a little bit more unsettled potentially in May, before summer really gets going in June. Flaming June, maybe, hints there, but of course it's 3 months away, so really long way off. And then potentially hot and thundery in July. Beyond that, who cares? Right, so that's it for this CFS 6 Month Look-Ahead for this month. We'll do it all over again next month. So come back for that then. If you enjoy the CFS 6 Month Look-Ahead, please give us a thumbs up on the video, and we're always happy to do more for you. I know we'll get a few thumbs down though, because we always get our regular 2 or 3 thumbs downers. Anyway, hello to you. Thanks for thumbs down in the videos, and there'll be 1 or 2 people that just find this all a little bit silly, of course, as well, so there'll probably be a thumbs down too. But if you enjoy it, give us a thumbs up, and either way, we're going to keep doing the CFS 6 Month Look-Ahead because I enjoy having a laugh about it. Right, so that's it for today's video updates. Don't forget to check out weekend forecast and also the week to 10-day video update, and then of course tomorrow we're going to have the ASRAV's Sunday roundup, but we'll be starting off with our latest batch of summer analogues. Come back for that then. That's all for now, and thank you for watching.